and welcome to
It's different. Welcome. Talk about the high.
Now you're working for something that's going to
life, church, together,
That can be a benefit.
and share.
Yeah, guys, we don't know what it's going to do. We're just going to talk about this real quick. Here we go. Exodus 4, if you would turn to me in your Bibles to Exodus 4 and 24. And if we can all be Kojic for the next 32 seconds and stand for the reading of the word. And it came to pass, by the way, in the end, that the Lord met him and sought to kill him.
Wow.
Then Zipporah took a sharp stone and cut off the foreskin of her son
Jeez.
and cast it at his feet and said, "Surely a bloody husband art thou to me." So he let him go. Then she said, "A bloody husband thou art because of the circumcision." For those people who do not know, we are in the book of Exodus. What's kind of going on right now is Moses is on his way to the Israelites after God has talked to them about the burning bush and gave him his assignment. He's now understood the assignments and he is on his way to the Israelites and God's about to take him out, which is dynamic because the Lord definitely just spent 80 years raising him up. And now he's about to take him out because of one simple thing.
And it's so wild because earlier in that passage, God spent all this time telling him how he's going to use him, and Moses giving all these excuses why he can't be used. And God is like, "Didn't I do all this? I can use you." And then we get right here, I'm going to kill him. Like that's just
he meets Moses' demands. Fine, I'll give you Aaron. Fine, I'll give you a sign. Fine, I'll give you another sign. Now he's just about to take him out.
Just like that.
And start over.
Just like that. It's so abrupt. It's so unexpected.
Right.
It's so, whoa.
It's only 3 verses.
It is.
This is 24, 25, 26.
Wedged in between, because right before that, God says, go to Egypt, tell Pharaoh this is what's going to happen, but he's going to harden his heart so that my miracle, all that stuff. And then that happens. And then right after, he says, okay, Aaron, go talk to you. It's just like so wedged in there, it seems, at least.
It's like, what are you trying to, like, what are we supposed to get from it? I don't know.
Right.
We really don't know.
Not
Like, we started this episode trying to figure out what that is. Hopefully in the next 4 minutes, we'll figure out the conclusion.
Real.
Because everything in the Bible is important and relevant.
Right.
God is not wasteful. He's intentional with everything he does. So he put 4 verses out of the thousands of verses in the Bible. He designated 3 of them just on this topic, and we don't know why.
I think if I had to take my first swing at it, I think it is to highlight the importance and the seriousness of the law of God and when he tells you to do something. Circumcision, God was, at that time, he was trying to establish Israel. I guess Israel wasn't even really a thing yet, but still in the sense of establishing customs and ceremonies and stuff, that was serious to God. Circumcision, Sabbath, all that stuff, that was, not only was it serious, but later when God gives Moses the law, like a lot of these things are punishable by death if they don't happen, which clearly we see because he's like, I'm about to go kill him. But I think it goes to show that even if God does call you to do something, even if he tells you you're going to be this or that, if you refuse to do something that God tells you to do, God is like, I don't really care who you are. I'm God. You listen to me, and I could take you out just like that if I wanted to.
Facts.
So I think if I had to take my first swing at it, the reason that it's in there, even like wedging between those verses, I think it's to show that even if God gave you an assignment to do something, if you don't do this first, the first thing, the more important things first, or the little things, I should say, that seem not as grand as speaking before Pharaoh and doing all these miracles. If you don't do the little things, then we have a serious problem here, because how can I really trust you to do my bigger things?
To that point, if we fast forward in the story, way, we run into the situation where God gives Moses the 10 Commandments, and he tells them, wow, I haven't even finished writing everything down and they've already turned against me. And Moses saves their life. And he goes down there and he takes, does God's judgment of vengeance for him. And he burns the calves. He puts the ashes in the water, makes the people drink it, and then has 70,000 people die from the priests, which is crazy.
It is.
It's really crazy. But if you put it in context of this story, I bet if you ask Moses, Moses, why so serious?
Yeah.
because I almost died. Because
Yeah.
my son was not circumcised because my wife, who was a Midian,
Mhm.
right? So she's
Mhm.
not from Israel, right? So this
Right.
is not out of the blue. This is not just strict disobedience.
Right.
You gotta imagine he's been away from his people, not just for the time he's been running away from Egypt. He's been away from his people since he was born.
Right.
You gotta understand, when
Right.
he first came into this world, he ended up in a river, raised in an Egyptian household,
Mhm.
then kills someone, runs to
Mhm.
Midian, spends 40 years there
Mhm.
before the whole conversation with God, the people of Israel, deliverer, and all that stuff even comes to play.
Right.
So it's not crazy that he, kind of shrugged his shoulder to it
Yeah.
until he was dying.
Until he was, yeah. And that's so interesting because it's like, I guess it doesn't really say how he was going to die. He just said, and the Lord sought to kill him. It's like, was there a disease that was going to go on? Was it just, because he was, I guess, in an inn at that time, just like on his way to Egypt. They kind of just lodged and, set up camp or whatever. And it was, just chilling. God was like, yeah, I'm going to go kill him because he didn't listen to me. And it's just like,
it's important that it's important that not only you are, in the spirit on the Lord's day, but also who you marry and who you are with, because Moses couldn't save himself at this point.
Right.
It's Zipporah that
Right.
had to act.
And that's a good point too, which bring up to my second swing.
Mm-hmm.
When she says, a bloody husband art thou to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to figure out, really what that meant. And I've done a little bit of research. I tried to do my own interpretation, but I guess what I kind of gotten out of it is it's more like of an idiomatic phrase. Basically, I heard it's basically her lament saying, you basically put me through this. Like, like this is my son. Because remember, circumcision, that was an intense thing to do.
Yes, it was.
You're basically mutilating a young boy.
And was he young is the question.
That's it, right. That's another thing, because at that time, I don't think they had the whole 8 day after being born. It was like this is like a new thing. So you could be any age at that time. It was like,
And
hey,
Moses only had 2 sons.
yeah.
And Gershom was born years before the burning bush.
Jeez.
So was it a young boy?
And like you said, the wife was a Midian, and she wasn't really accustomed to all this stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, imagine you were just a shepherdess, right, under your father, Jethro, whatever. You guys are just chilling, and then you're brought into this family or to this relationship where he's gonna literally deliver millions of people out of bondage. He's gonna do all these miracles. And you were just nobody. And now you come into this situation, and now you realize you have to do all these things.
That's intense,
including mutilating your own child. And it was like, what have you done? Like, you put me in this situation. Like, you're a bloody husband to me. Like, it was almost like a lament, or like, why would you put me through this?
That is a good point, because I can imagine things were stacking up at this point.
Yeah.
Right. Honeymoon period. He saves them at the well. Jethro was like, how'd you guys get your water so fast? Well, there was this guy.
Right.
And he's like, well, why didn't you invite him to the house? Oh, well, okay. Beautiful. He gives his son, daughter a honeymoon. Oh, this new guy that saved you from the thieves at the well. You fall in love. Woo, happily ever after. Stuff starts stacking up. You having kids. And I imagine, like, we like to compare the 40 years of Israel wandering to Moses' 40 years in Midian initially.
Yeah.
I mean, his life, he was living his life, but I cannot imagine that was peaceful. I think there's certain things that he had to go through and to understand, to become the deliverer that he became.
Right.
That's just the pattern of God.
Right.
And because she was married to him, that would include her.
Right.
Right. And now, being married to the one who's called to deliver entire people, that relationship with Satan, however that looks, now we're coming up to this point.
Right.
Now I gotta, circumcise my son with a stone.
Jeez.
In the inn, in the middle of the night, because you over here dying. And it's like, man, if I would have just never let you in my life in the first place, we would have never been in this place. I could have married a Midian. I could have lived my life. I couldn't have to worry about, being, kicked out of Egypt, going through plagues, going all this and that and the other.
And it's so interesting that you say that. And we're kind of talked about this because in Exodus 18, I think verse 2, I think he sends his wife and children back to
Yes, he
Jethro
does.
while
Yes,
he
he
goes.
does.
So it's almost like you can kind of tell it was intense for her, like, or maybe even for him, just seeing his wife. Regardless, it was intense for either or of the party,
Mm-hmm.
to the point where he sent her back to her father and his father-in-law. And it just goes to show that when God calls you to do something, one, you got to really make sure you're getting with the right person,
Sheesh.
because if God calls you to do something big like that, it's going to take a certain type of sacrifice and suffering. And you just got to be
Mhm.
mentally prepared, physically prepared. Like this is you got to do it or you're going to die.
Right. I wonder how she knew. Was it like they had the conversation before?
Mm.
Moses was like, "Hey, we should probably circumcise the kid." She was like, "Hey,
Right.
Hey, we should probably circumcise."
And they kind of put it
And then he
off.
was like, "Okay, whatever."
Right,
and then it
right.
comes to situations Zipporah remembers, or was a conversation never had at all.
Right.
Again, Israel didn't really grow up with his people.
Right.
He was in he was a prince of Egypt.
Right.
He didn't really grow up with his people. So maybe the Lord came to Zipporah in a vision and woke her up in the middle of the night and was like, "Hey,
Man.
chief,
Yeah.
this is what you got to do." And I
Yeah.
can't imagine. What if she had never heard of that before?
Dude,
And the Lord was like,
so yeah, no.
He comes to her in a vision and says, "You got to do
You gotta
this
do it.
or he's going to die." And she does this in confusion and anger.
Yeah, just
Thou art a bloody husband to me.
man, it's just
This is crazy.
and again, the fact that it's just wedged in between,
Mhm.
like it's almost like I don't even know what to make of it really. I mean, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. It's just because it's so short
Mhm.
and so just abrupt that it just takes you by surprise if you were just to study Exodus or
Right.
it's just
You'd be like, "Whoa, what just
It would,
happened?"
like, there's no what's the word? There's no leading up to it. There's no foreshadow or anything. It just happens and then it just stops. He says, and the Lord left them alone. And that's it. And it goes on to the
Just
next
gone
verse.
that
I'm
quick.
like, man.
Yeah,
Man.
that's crazy. Let us know what you guys think.
Yeah.
We were just kind of just like, messing around and thinking about like, man, what in the world does that mean? We know it's in there for a reason. Why
That's
do you think God, let us know in the comments, why do you think God put that
Mhm.
in the book of Exodus? Why was it important to notate that?
Yeah.
Um,